Afternoon, LinkedIn. Today I am delighted to be joined by a friend and client of mine, Andy Haslam, who is the Finance Director for Kin Karta Connect in the latest edition of the FJR Director's Cut. Today I'm going to ask Andy a couple of questions on how the business and employees have coped during COVID. But first of all, Andy, I know we've spoken a lot this year. It's been pretty crazy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Busy enjoying working from home.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that COVID has given us, that more flexibility. I suppose that, Andy, that leads me on to my first question. Offices and working environments have totally changed, in my opinion, in some cases for the better. How have things changed for you as a business?
Well, I think the good news for us really is, being a digital business, we've managed to keep ourselves busy throughout both lockdowns. Everyone has been working from home, deploying all the work, and really you could argue we've not really noticed the need for an office. However, that being said, we still have a firm view that we do need an office. Very much it's the heart of the business, a space for us to collaborate in, and really just catching up on the good work that people do and learning from it. And without that, I think we'd really miss it going forwards.
And because I've obviously worked with you in the business for quite a while, but there was already a flexible working remote policy, wasn't there, with the business?
Yeah, we literally in February rolled out our first sort of Flex Plus policy, allowing people to have a bit more flexibility. We trialed that in one office, and literally the day after we trialed it, we went live across the whole business because we had to. And it has worked well. I think by and large people have embraced it. I think we're all adjusting to working from a home office where the computer never turns off if you're not careful.
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
We've actually tried to encourage people to turn the laptop off, because otherwise you can just spend all your life working, and that's not healthy from an EX point of view. So the employee experience. So it is trying to find a balance whilst keeping the work going. And
I suppose because obviously I have worked with you for quite a while, what's the challenge been like for having individuals from your business on site with your clients? Because am I right in saying they've had to do a lot of it remotely as well?
Yes, yeah, virtually everything we've done, I think, with probably very few exceptions, has been all remote. The challenge there is just really sparring with the client, it's getting that creativity going on getting the ideas turn into something on a digital platform. Much easier to do it face to face than it is via a video link, but it's doable. And I think we lockdown one, we probably didn't know how long that would last. Now that we sort of got a bit more certainty, I guess it's a little bit easier to see forwards in that, but we still do miss our clients.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think everybody is Microsoft Teams and Zoom to the end of their tether, aren't they?
Yeah, yes, gently zoomed out almost.
Yeah, there's only so many client meetings or family Zooms that you can have over the course of this year.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Brilliant. And Andy, the second question for me, and I know it's something that I've actually asked for your advice on quite a lot throughout this period, workforce engagement. The big thing for me has been health and well-being, managing people remotely and keeping that engagement and productivity high. And at times for me that's been challenging. How have you found it personally, and how has the business coped with those things?
I think in hindsight now, I think we've coped really well. We took a conscious decision very early on to over communicate to staff, partly because we didn't know all the answers ourselves, and we needed others to realise that whilst they looked up to us as leaders to set the direction and help understand the challenges we were facing during a pandemic, equally, we're all human as well. So it was over communicate, weekly touch points with the business, giving them the flexibility to dial into an all hands meeting every week. Some weeks those meetings had lots of content, some weeks they've had very little, and silence is always as good as a long answer at times.
Yeah.
And that's set the tone, and that really built up the trust, because we, as part of that, allowed an open Q&A. Staff could ask anyone on the leadership team anything, and we would answer it, even if we say, I don't know, but I'll find out and come back to you. And I think that helped give some assurances that we were at least trying to work through the pandemic as best we can.
Sorry, Andy.
No, as I say, Go on.
No, so what I was going to say is with a lot of all hands calls that certainly we've had, sometimes there is that silence in the end. Did you find with a lot of yours there was a lot of employee engagement? There was a lot of questions being asked.
I think it's the same of most way through for us. Once you get that first question asked, as you can ask it anonymously or as a named individual, it seems to get the conversation flowing at times. So we've had times, I guess, are we coming out of lockdown? What's the policy around offices? What we're doing with X, Y, Z? There's been those sort of conversations that lots of people have got the same concerns about, and you just need one answer to unlock it. Others, if it's a positive call, there's almost no need to ask it. And with the other things we've been doing to try and keep employees informed, that's certainly helped sort of quell those concerns.
Brilliant. And what's and again, I know we've spoken about this quite a lot. What's been the biggest thing that you've probably done from a health and well-being perspective that has kept everybody really engaged? What's been the biggest thing the business has done?
I think just keeping it. I was going to say keeping it fresh. Don't keep the same thing going all 12 months because it all becomes taken for granted. So we've only just literally started doing Friday takeaways to recognise people that have gone the extra distance in the week. Go and get yourself a takeaway. And the company will pay it. And we get people to vote for who they recognise. So it's not the leaders choosing; it's the business choosing.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and that's gone down really well. But if we did that for the next 10 months, it would become a given, and it therefore loses its appeal. So it's just keeping on top of the pulse of the business, really.
Fantastic.
And Andy, finally, this is a pretty broad question. We've had lockdown 1, we've had lockdown 2.0. And we've now got Christmas round the corner. What do you think the next 6 months look like for the UK, for the business community, for the economy? What do you think the next 6 months looks like?
Right, it is crystal ball time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I think for us, it's especially with the news around the vaccine, albeit early days, it's giving a little bit more positivity to 2021. We certainly see us going back into the office next year, albeit not maybe January the 1st, but we'll go back. And conversations with our clients, people have to move on. We can't be in lockdown forever. So you adapt to it, and let's move forwards together. And we're seeing lots of that. People actually making decisions around, let's get this piece of work done now because we can't wait forever to push forwards. And that's the same with our employees. Let's start to drift back into an office, and maybe in a different way to before, but let's start to move forwards together. In terms of the economy, I'm not going to answer that. Even as the accountant, I think I'd be held to account if I commit something. But I think a general degree of optimism. We're facing down the signs of a recession, but at the same time, there's a willingness for certain sectors to push on, and there's always unfortunately going to be winners and losers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, mate. Certainly from my side, there's a degree of optimism, but we've got to see the way things shake out over January, don't we?
Yeah, we do, and as much as we're saying it even just today with our business, don't just talk the talk. We need to convert that talk and optimism into paid business for us and paid optimism for others. Really, just convert it down and then live and breathe it. Really.
Absolutely.
Well, Andy, I promise you I wouldn't take up too much of your time, so I'd just like to say thank you very much for joining us today on the Director's Cut, and I hope you and the family have a fantastic Christmas when it comes around.
Likewise, Matt. It's a pleasure working with you this year.
Brilliant. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks. Bye-bye.